Now I request Dr. Odisha ma'am to please come here and present your presentation. Dr. Odisha is the attorney at Ananda and Anand, and she has been experience of more than 20 years. So she will be presenting on drafting of patent specification. Whatever your doubts are there, to keep it right, and after that we will discuss with madam.
I hope Chavi has already explained to you what patents are, so you have a little bit of idea of what is a patent. Just to revise in a second, patents are legal rights which are provided for your technical inventions relating to technology where you have made advancement of technology. आज के वर्ल्ड में हम टेक्नोलॉजी बेस्ड सोसाइटी में रहते हैं. वी आर लिविंग इन अ सोसाइटी विच इज टेक्नोलॉजी बेस्ड. एवरी डे देयर आर न्यू प्रोडक्ट्स इन द मार्केट, न्यू सर्विसेज आर देयर, प्रोडक्ट्स आर देयर, and each product is considered, is said to be a better product than the previous one. So technology का advancement हो रहा है. इस advancement को protect हम करते हैं through patent system. पैटेंट सिस्टम से इनको प्रोटेक्ट करते हैं. जो इन्वेंटर होते हैं, जो इनोवेटर होते हैं, उन्हें 20 इयर्स के लिए मोनोपोली राइट्स मिलते हैं टू एक्सप्लॉइट देयर पैटेंट्स. The patents are generally called rights which provide you the power to stop other people from using your patented invention. So आपका जो पैटेंट है, आपने जो क्रिएट किया है, whatever technology you have created, you can register it, protect it through patent system for a period of 20 years, and you have the right to exclude or stop other people from using your patented technology. This was just a brief. Before I started, already Dr. Surbhi-ICAR has already explained that to you, so let's not get into it. So intellectual property right basically transforms knowledge into assets of economic value, and it helps in generating wealth. So it is a very, very important tool for commercialization. So basically, when we are creating an invention, basically the invention, a new invention may be relating to a fundamental research where something completely new has been created. For example, when Edison created the bulb, or there were so many inventions, so these were fundamental researches. Something new came up altogether. Then there are improvements in the existing knowledge, like we already had Edison's bulb, that we improved the bulb in different forms depending upon the requirements. So all these are improvement of the existing knowledge. Then inventions also relate to solving unsolved problems of the prior art or which are existing there, or inventions also relate to a different approach. Already something is there, but we are providing a different approach of solving the problem. So all these things result in new invention. And then when we have an invention in our hand, जब हमारे पास एक invention है and we think or we consider filing a patent for that invention, the first and the most important thing which we require is a patent specification. सबसे पहले हमें एक पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन चाहिए होता है. पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन बेसिकली जैसे हम रिसर्च पेपर लिखते हैं, जर्नल्स में आर्टिकल्स लिखते हैं, अपने रिसर्च आर्टिकल्स लिखते हैं, उसी तरह पेटेंट टू एक्सप्लेन योर इन्वेंशन, आपकी इन्वेंशन को समझाने के लिए, एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए we have to write the invention in a format provided under the law. उसको we call it as patent specification. So patent specification वो एक legal document होता है, techno legal document होता है, जिसमें आप अपनी invention explain करते हैं, आप बताते हैं कि आपने क्या नया create किया है, नया method create किया है, नया tool कोई create किया है, नया process develop किया है, क्यों किया है, कैसे किया है, वो इन्वेंशन कैसे काम करती है, उस इन्वेंशन का क्या यूज है, ये सब चीजें हम पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन में डिटेल में लिखते हैं. वी ऑल्सो राइट हाउ द इन्वेंशन इज परफॉर्म्ड, इन्वेंशन को कैसे करना है वो भी हम पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन में डिटेल में लिखते हैं. द पर्पस ऑफ राइटिंग about the invention in detail in a patent specification is that when someone reads the patent specification, he is able to perform your invention. आपकी एक्सेस में, इन्वेंशन की एक्सेस में अगर कोई पेटेंट डॉक्यूमेंट को, पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन को पढ़े तो वो पढ़ के जैसे इन्वेंशन में इन्वेंशन की है उसी प्रकार से, उसी तरीके से वो भी उस डॉक्यूमेंट को पढ़ के स्टेप बाय स्टेप इन्वेंशन वो भी कर सके, वो भी उस प्रोडक्ट को बना सके या वो उस प्रोसेस को कर सके. सो द पर्पस ऑफ राइटिंग अ पैटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन और फाइलिंग अ पैटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन इज दैट somebody, anybody in the public, कोई भी पब्लिक डोमेन में any person can read the patent document and perform the invention in the same manner as that of the inventor. And ये ऐसा क्यों करना होता है कि कोई भी परफॉर्म कर सके? Because patents are granted under the law and the premise or the reason purpose of granting a patent is that the inventor has to disclose his invention. Inventor को अपनी invention disclose करनी पड़ेगी 100% पूरे fully and completely. उसके बदले में, उस disclosure के बदले में ही he will get the 20 years right. तभी उसको rights मिलेंगे. इससे क्या होता है? इससे पब्लिक में इन्वेंशन के बारे में टेक्नोलॉजी में जो इम्प्रूवमेंट हो रहा है, पीपल गेट टू नो अबाउट दैट इम्प्रूवमेंट, दे कैन फर्दर वर्क ऑन इट. सो इन्वेंशन पैटेंट्स क्या है? पैटेंट्स देयरफॉर बिकम अ सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बिटवीन द पब्लिक एंड द इन्वेंटर. इन्वेंटर अपनी इन्वेंशन पूरी डिस्क्लोज करेंगे पब्लिक को, पब्लिक इन रिटर्न विल गेट द इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट द टेक्नोलॉजी. सो इट्स अ सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. सो नाउ as we say, patents हमें, we have to file patents, we need patents, we have done invention, we want to file patents. वो सब ठीक है, but the most important and the most critical part of obtaining a patent for your invention is drafting of your patent specification. अगर आपने अच्छी patent specification नहीं draft की है, if you have not drafted, you have not written your invention properly, if you have not shown how your invention works or what is your invention, if your invention is not coming out properly, if the controller is not able to really understand your invention or public is not able to understand your invention, you will not be granted a patent. बहुत अच्छी भी आपने invention की हो, अगर खराब patent drafting की है, patent grant नहीं होगा. So therefore, what is important is three steps before drafting. What you should consider while drafting, what you need to consider, and post drafting definitely what you need to consider. So before drafting, now suppose we have an invention in our hand and we want to file a patent. So we need to now draft a patent specification. So before we start with our pen writing the patent specification, we need to understand what exactly is the invention. Invention क्या है? जो हमने actually क्या create किया है? What is the core of our invention? Maybe our invention is an improvement invention. So our invention basically lies in the improvement. पूरे सब चीज में पूरा कोई product हमने नहीं पूरा change कर दिया. Only the part which has been improved वो invention है. अगर कोई process develop किया है, so the part of the process which you have specifically changed or you have modified or you have added some new part, that is the invention. सारा part नहीं है invention. So first and foremost important thing is to understand what is your invention. Then you have to understand whether your invention is patentable or not. अभी पिछले लेक्चर में डॉक्टर गर्ग ने बताया होगा कि novelty, inventive step and industrial applicability are the three criteria of patentability. Invention को patent कराने के लिए invention date of filing पे novel होनी चाहिए. Nobody should be aware of the invention. Obvious होनी चाहिए, non-obvious होनी चाहिए. People who are working in the industry, in the same industry as that of inventions technology, nobody should say that it is an obvious modification or obvious improvement. And third criteria is industrial applicability, or invention should be capable of implementation in an industry. Also, you need to understand there are certain exemptions which are provided in the Act, that into certain types of inventions are not patentable as per the law. So you should also see whether your invention falls in that category or not. Then you need to understand what is the prior art relating to your invention. आपकी invention से related क्या prior art है? Prior art can be some oral disclosure, मतलब कुछ information जो common general knowledge है जो हम generally verbally discuss करते हैं उस technology field में. Maybe it can be a printed document, any article, any book article, any book, blog, newspaper, clipping, anything which is published. It can become a prior art, or something which is in prior public use, which generally is the common art and it is commonly used in the industry. अगर ऐसा कुछ है invention इन तीनों में से कुछ relate करती है, then it becomes non-patentable. So before drafting, you need to understand what your invention is, whether it lies in some exempted list or not, whether it is covered by any prior public disclosure or not. So verification करने के लिए the best thing is that you conduct a prior art search to determine whether your invention is patentable or not. The best tool is to conduct a prior art search. Do a prior art search to determine whether any prior publication exists or not. Anything related to the technical field of in the technical field of your invention exists or not. So you can enlist problems in the prior art. You can then write how those problems were solved by the other inventors. Then you determine whether your invention is novel or not. Your invention is providing some obvious solution or non-obvious solution. So by doing this exercise, by doing a prior art search, you can determine whether the invention is novel and inventive or not. Public domain generally means anything which is published in public, which is a public knowledge and a common general knowledge. So before drafting, you did a prior art search. आपने एक prior art search कर ली है. आपको लगता है कि आपकी invention patentable है और आप चाह रहे हैं कि हम application patent office में file करते हैं. So now the question is, आप किस तरह की application file करेंगे? In India and in most of the countries, we file two types of application: provisional patent application and a non-provisional patent application, जिसको India में हम complete application भी कहते हैं. If अगर आपने invention अभी आपको लगता है you have not 100% completed your invention part, आपने अपनी research complete नहीं की है, कुछ part रहता है, but main results मुझे मिल गए हैं. I have got main results. Broadly I have done work on my invention. Only I have to finalize it. So you can file a provisional patent application. Provisional patent application survives for 12 months. So within 12 months, you can file a non-provisional application and convert it into a final application. If you think you have completed your invention, आप directly non-provisional या complete application भी file कर सकते हैं. So provisional application is filed only, the life of a provisional application is only 12 months. ये 12 महीने के लिए ही होती है. This application does not require claim. इसमें claim की जरूरत नहीं होती है. क्यों? क्योंकि अभी हमने प्रोविजनल एप्लीकेशन जो फाइल की है इसलिए फाइल की थी क्योंकि हमें लगता था हमने कंप्लीट अपनी इन्वेंशन पूरी नहीं करी है. अभी उसमें वी कैन ऐड फ्यू थिंग्स और वी कैन मॉडिफाई फ्यू थिंग्स. तो अभी हमारी इनकम्प्लीट एप्लीकेशन थी. प्रोविजनल एप्लीकेशन में देखो वी डू नॉट पुट क्लेम, बट इट हैज अ रिटन डिस्क्रिप्शन एंड which broadly defines the invention. Non-provisional application can be filed any time within 12 months of from the date of provisional application. It has claims because this is the final application. You have finalized your invention. You have done all nitty-gritties. You have taken care of everything. Now invention is complete. So आपने invention is fully complete. So now you are ready to draft your claims. Claims is the part of the specification. वो पार्ट होता है जिस पे आपको पेटेंट राइट मिलेंगे. पूरी स्पेसिफिकेशन पे पेटेंट राइट नहीं मिलती। पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन में एक क्लेम पार्ट होता है। क्लेम जो हम क्लेम का मतलब ये हम कुछ क्लेम कर रहे हैं, हम किसी पे हक मांग रहे हैं, हम किसी चीज पे अपना अधिकार बता रहे हैं, तो क्लेम पार्ट होता है जिसपे हमें पेटेंट राइट मिलता है। तो नॉन प्रोविजनल या स्पेसिफिकेशन में क्लेम्स होते हैं। पब्लिकेशन जो होता है वो भी कंप्लीट एप्लीकेशन का होता है और वही एग्जामिन होगी और आगे जाके पेटेंट में कन्वर्ट होएगी। अब हमने समझ लिया हमें क्या फाइल करना है, हमें प्रोविजनल फाइल करना है या डायरेक्टली कंप्लीट एप्लीकेशन या नॉन प्रोविजनल एप्लीकेशन फाइल करनी है। अब काम शुरू होता है पेटेंट ड्राफ्टिंग का। यहाँ से हम पेटेंट ड्राफ्टिंग स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं क्योंकि हमने इसकी इन्वेंशन डिफाइन कर ली है। वी हैव डिफाइंड आवर इन्वेंशन, वी हैव डन अ प्रायर आर्ट सर्च, वो भी हमने कर ली। हमें पता चल गया हमारी इन्वेंशन नॉवल है, इन्वेंटिव है, पेटेंटेबल सब्जेक्ट मैटर है। अब हमने ये भी डिसाइड कर लिया हम प्रोविजन फाइल करना चाहते हैं या हम कंप्लीट फाइल करना चाहते हैं। अब हम लिखने बैठेंगे अपनी पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन। तो व्हाट इज, सबसे पहले क्वेश्चन आता है दिमाग में, पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन होता क्या है? व्हाट इज पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन? सो पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन इज अ टेक्नो लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट। इसको हम बोलते हैं टेक्नो लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट। क्यों? बिकॉज दिस डॉक्यूमेंट प्रोवाइड्स टेक्नोलॉजी अबाउट योर इन्वेंशन। पूरी टेक्नोलॉजी है, पूरी इन्वेंशन के बारे में डिटेल में है, तो टेक्निकल डॉक्यूमेंट है। बट इट इज ऑल्सो अ लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट क्योंकि ये आपको लॉ के अंडर में, लॉ के अंदर, पेटेंट लॉ के अंदर आपको प्रोटेक्शन राइट्स दिलाएगा। तो ये लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट भी है जिसको कोर्ट भी एग्जामिन करते हैं। तो देयरफॉर पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन क्या बन जाता है? टेक्नो लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट। आपकी रिसर्च से रिलेटेड जो आर्टिकल होते हैं, जो जर्नल में आप छापते हैं या थीसिस में लिखते हैं, दैट इज अ लीगल टेक्निकल डॉक्यूमेंट क्योंकि सिर्फ उसमें टेक्नोलॉजी है, उसमें कोई लीगल राइट नहीं है। बट जब पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन इज अ टेक्नो लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट क्योंकि उसमें टेक्नोलॉजी भी डिस्क्राइब है प्रॉपर्ली, लीगल लैंग्वेज में है क्योंकि वो लीगल टर्म्स में उसको लिखा जाता है, एंड इट इज अ डॉक्यूमेंट विच इज ऑल्सो एग्जामिन्ड एंड स्क्रूटनाइज्ड बाय कोर्ट्स। So it is a techno-legal document. So basically, a patent specification is a document through which the inventor discloses in detail his invention. So patent specification वो document है जिसमें inventor अपनी पूरी specification define करेगा. So it is a very critical document because this document is read by several people. If you are commercializing your इन्वेंशन, आप अपना प्रोडक्ट है कोई सपोज जो आपने पेटेंट फाइल किया है, सो योर पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन विल बी एग्जामिन्ड बाय योर कॉम्पिटिटर्स इन द मार्केट। आपके ओपोनेंट्स हैं जो आपसे कॉम्पीट करते हैं मार्केट में, वो भी पढ़ेंगे इसको, डॉक्यूमेंट को देखेंगे भाई क्या बना है, क्या इन्वेंशन है। बाकी लोग जो इसमें जिनका रिसर्च इंटरेस्ट है वो भी पढ़ेंगे, तो अदर पीपल विल जनरली रीड इट बिकॉज ऑफ एकेडमिक और रिसर्च इंटरेस्ट। अगर कोई केस हो जाता है, इंफ्रिंजमेंट हो जाता है, तो कोर्ट्स विल एनालाइज इट और सबसे पहले तो पेटेंट ऑफिस विल एनालाइज इट। सो इट हैज टू बी रेड बाय डिफरेंट पीपल। देयरफॉर ड्राफ्टिंग ऑफ अ पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन जो बार-बार हम कहते हैं कि क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज इट हैज टू बी ड्राफ्टेड विद सेवरल पर्सपेक्टिव। एक इन्वेंटर का पर्सपेक्टिव होता है जो अपनी इन्वेंशन को ही बेस्ट इन्वेंशन समझता है, वो अपनी इन्वेंशन की बहुत तारीफ लिखना चाहता है, उसके बारे में बहुत कुछ लिखना चाहता है। सो दैट इज वन पर्सपेक्टिव। The other perspective is of third parties or the opponent's perspective, जो आपके पेटेंट को गिराना चाहते हो, नहीं चाहते कि आपको पेटेंट ग्रांट हो, तो वो आपकी इन्वेंशन में कमियां ढूंढेंगे आपकी। अरे आपने तो ये ही नहीं समझाया ठीक से, आपने ये नहीं बताया किया क्या है, ये तो सभी कर लेते हैं, ये तो सबको पता है। तो एक थर्ड पार्टी का पर्सपेक्टिव है वो जो आपकी पेटेंट को गिराना चाहते हैं। एक पेटेंटेबिलिटी पर्सपेक्टिव है, जो पेटेंट ऑफिस का पर्सपेक्टिव होगा, वो देखेंगे कि पेटेंटेबल है भी नहीं है, इसको पेटेंट ग्रांट करे कि नहीं करे। तो स्पेसिफिकेशन हैज टू बी ड्राफ्टेड कंसीडरिंग इन माइंड एवरीथिंग। सिर्फ हमें अपने पर्सपेक्टिव से नहीं, अरे हमने तो बहुत अच्छी मेंशन कर दी, हमने तो बिल्कुल सबसे पहले किया है, किसी ने नहीं किया आज तक, ये सोच के नहीं करना। हमें सबके पर्सपेक्टिव से लिखना है ताकि जब पेटेंट ऑफिस में हमारी स्पेसिफिकेशन जाए, वहाँ एग्जामिन हो और वो ग्रांट हो। कोई ऑपोजिशन भी फाइल करे तो वो ऑपोजिशन रिजेक्ट हो जाए, तो इतनी स्ट्रांगली अपना पेटेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन ड्राफ्ट करना चाहिए। So purpose is basically to define the invention, and the specification has claims, and claims में आप पेटेंट राइट मिलेगा. So generally patent office, licensing court, key people, skilled person in the art, competitor, competent commercial players, general public, ये सब आपकी स्पेसिफिकेशन पढ़ते हैं. सेक्शन 10 हमारे इंडियन पेटेंट एक्ट में है, which defines what should be the content of the patent specification. Section 10(4) is important, which says that every complete specification shall fully and particularly describe the invention, its operation, use, and the method by which it has to be performed. This is the most important line and the bottom line for drafting a patent specification, which means fully and particularly. मतलब fully मतलब पूरा and specifically आपको define describe करना है invention, क्या आपने invention की है, its operation वो कैसे काम करती है, और use उसका क्या use है, and the method तरीका method by which it has to be performed, उस invention को कैसे perform करना है, ये हमें specification में इस एक line में ही सब कुछ लिखा है. The invention should fully specification should be fully and particularly described. In the invention should be described in the specification, its operation, use, and method of performing. You have to also disclose the best method of performing the invention, which is known to the inventor or the applicant, for which he is entitled for the protection. So आपको best method define करना है, आपको examples देके, specific examples देके invention कैसे काम करेगी. अगर आप लोग कोई research background से ज़्यादातर लोग, अगर आपने journals पढ़े हैं, patent specifications पढ़े हैं, तो आपको वहाँ example के section दिखेंगे, जहाँ examples दे के समझाया जाता है how the invention will work. So that is called the best method of performing the invention. Invention कैसे perform करेगी. Each specification should end with the claim. So last part of the specification जो होता है वो claim part होता है, जिसमें हम protection seek कर रहे हैं. If your invention is accompanied, your invention should also be accompanied with an abstract, and if your invention comprises some biological material, आपके invention में कोई biological material का use है, कोई microorganism का, then you must submit those microorganisms in the international depository. For India it is आई.आर.स. So वहाँ से आप इसको deposit करके accession number लेके specification में mention कर सकते हैं. Also, if you are using some biological material, then you need to disclose the source and the geographical origin of the biological material in the specification. So biological deposit, material has to be deposited in a depository. For India it is आई.आर.स Chandigarh. So that was section 10(4), which defined what is a specification, and these are the elements or the parts of the patent specification. So each and every patent specification starts with a title. So you have to provide a title to your invention. Then there is a field of invention. Invention किस field, technical field से related है. Background of the invention. What was the prior art background of the invention? I will explain each and every part in detail, but you first understand. The first part is title, then field of invention, then background of the invention. Then you have to provide the object. What was the inventor's object of doing the invention? Then the statement of invention. Then you have to write summary of invention, description of the drawings, detailed description of invention. Then you have claims and abstract. So these are basically the broader heads of the patent specification. I just showed you a sample of a patent specification. This is a US patent specification. So if you can see at the top, there is a title which says a device with something. I'm not able to read. Then this is the first bibliographic page, because USPTO publishes the specification in this format, and there is an abstract published there and the drawings. Then these are the drawings which are there in the specification, and the drawings are generally black and white line drawings, and you have to provide the reference number to each part of the in the drawing. Then from here the description starts. Below the title there is field of invention, which broadly provides what to which technical field the invention relates to. Then there is background. What is the technical background of the invention? Then is summary of the invention. Then summary of the drawing. Then detailed description of the invention is there. Each and every part of this mobile phone has been explained there. So you have to explain each and every part of the specification of your invention, and then the last part is the claim part. Then you have claims 1 to 17. These are the claims of the relating to the invention. So this is the basically field, background, summary, brief description of drawing, detailed description of invention. Then the claim part. So this is how a patent specification should look. So how to decide what should be in the title? So the title of the invention should be very, very specific, and it should disclose the invention. The title should show what actually the invention is, and you should always think of a title which is small, not more than 15 words, and not very descriptive title. You should not use generic words like system and method for performing such and such thing. Be specific. Title should be such that if anybody reads, he should get to know to which technology or what invention is written in the patent specification. So try to have a small, concise, and precise title of the invention. Then the second part is define the technical field of the invention. Technical field means to which technical area the invention relates. So for example, if I have developed a new pharmaceutical composition for treating suppose diabetes, so the technical field I should write that the present invention relates to a pharmaceutical composition for treatment of diabetes. So it is clearly showing that invention relates to a pharmaceutical composition in a particular medical condition. Also, the technical field should be similar, should be such that it should relate to the title of the invention. So there are few examples, like you should start writing your technical field that the present invention generally relates to pharmaceutical composition, more particularly pharmaceutical compositions relating to diabetes. Or you can write the present invention relates generally to pharmaceutical composition, particularly to diabetic composition. So these can be the ways you can write your field of invention. So while writing the field of invention, you have to only mention broadly the technical field. You do not have to mention the advantages of the invention. So this is only a section of the specification where you have to identify your technical field. You do not have to define your invention here. आपको यहाँ पे advantages नहीं mention करने, because for that there is a separate section of detailed description of invention. So you can generally write, for example, if you have developed a disposable toothbrush, so you can write the present invention relates to generally to disposable toothbrush, or you can write the present invention generally relates to toothbrush, particularly to disposable toothbrush. So इस तरह से आप अपनी invention में field define कर सकते हैं. Then there is an abstract part. Abstract gives a small, concise summary of your invention, which is published in the journal. So for that, abstract has to be of not more than 150 words, and it is a single paragraph. So you have to provide the very, very brief summary of your invention in the abstract part. Then the important part for a patent specification after technical field is the background of the invention. Background of the invention is very important while describing the invention, because inventor has to provide details of the existing prior art. जिस दिन जब inventor ने अपनी invention जब की, so he has to define the days, the date on which I was performing the invention. Before that, what prior art existed. जब मैं ये invention कर रहा था या करना चाह रहा था या मैंने सोचा that I should do this invention, what उस समय क्या क्या चीजें अवेलेबल थी, क्या इंफॉर्मेशन इस टेक्नोलॉजी फील्ड में अवेलेबल थी. So you have to define. For example, if we take an example of disposable toothbrush, for example, so inventor will define what kind of toothbrushes were available in the market. और किस तरीके के अवेलेबल होते थे, वो कितने कॉस्टली होते थे या बहुत सस्ते होते थे या ड्यूरेबल थे या नहीं ड्यूरेबल थे. So he will define the problems or limitations which existed with them. So because we say that necessity is the mother of invention. आज के ज़माने में invention अपने आप नहीं हो जाती. There is some necessity or requirement, then only we create something new. तो हमें existing चीज़ों में कुछ problem, limitation, कुछ drawback दिखते हैं, तभी हम उसको improvise करते हैं, उनको modify करते हैं, and we try to overcome those problems, limitations. So we have to define in the background what existed, what was their limitations, and therefore those limitations motivated the inventor to perform that invention. तो आप कैसे लिख सकते हैं? For example, these are the few examples where you can say that there has been various types of toothbrushes. If I am taking an example of disposable toothbrush, we can say there are various types of toothbrushes are known. One type of toothbrush is this, another type of toothbrush is this. There are these types of toothbrushes have these problems, and therefore, for example, यहाँ पे लिखा describe briefly several relevant features of toothbrush A, toothbrush B, and then you can define their disadvantages, which will become the motivation for the present invention. Then the third part is the brief summary of the invention. You have defined the field of invention, you have written the background of the invention. Now you will define, provide a brief summary of your invention, that in order to overcome the challenges of the prior art, overcome the drawbacks of the prior art, the present invention provides a disposable, improved disposable toothbrush. कि प्रायर आर्ट की प्रॉब्लम्स को ओवरकम करने के लिए मेरी इन्वेंशन, हमारी इन्वेंशन या ये प्रेजेंट इन्वेंशन प्रोवाइड करती है. जहाँ क्या दे रही है? डिस्पोजेबल टूथब्रश प्रोवाइड कर रही है. सो समरी शुड प्रोवाइड the summary of the invention should provide summary of what you have done in a very concise manner. So you can say accordingly the present invention, in order to overcome the limitations of the prior art, accordingly the present invention provides the disposable toothbrush. Or in one of the embodiments, the invention provides a disposable toothbrush. So these are different manners of describing or writing. Then you provide the brief description of drawing. So if your invention is such which requires drawings to explain the invention, जैसे टूथब्रश के केस में या किसी इलेक्ट्रिकल इन्वेंशन के केस में, you have to provide the drawings also. So drawings have to be numbered, they have to be like black and white line drawings. So you provide a brief summary of the drawings. So the drawings should be such which explain the invention properly. It must show every feature of the invention. It must contain as many different views, front view, back view, side view, perspective view. So all the views should be there to explain the invention and the functioning of the invention. So generally we use black and white drawings, line drawings. Color drawings are also allowed in India. You can also use photographs, but it should not be very colored. If parts of the features of the invention should be clear in that, you should provide reference number, and each drawing has to be labeled as figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, and you should generally avoid descriptive words in the figure. After drawing, there is the most critical and lengthy part, of the description is the detailed description of the invention. In the detailed description of the invention, you have to describe the invention in detail. Now, everything relating to invention has to be written in great detail in this part of the specification. इस पार्ट में आपको सारे how the invention is, what the invention is, what are the various parts of features of the invention, how it is performed, how it is used, what is the advantage, what is the disadvantage, what is the best method or examples of working the invention, description of the figures, everything has to be provided in this part of the specification, detailed description of the invention. It should provide everything relating to the invention should be there. Whatever you want to claim should have description in this part. If this part of the specification does not provide any description, then you cannot claim that thing. Then you have to, in the detailed description, you have to describe the preferred embodiment of the invention. Preferred embodiment means actual thing which you have developed. So you have to describe if you have prepared, you have developed like disposable toothbrush. So what can be different variations of that toothbrush? You have to describe in the preferred embodiment part of the invention, of the specification. So while describing the preferred invention, you can start writing by referring to figure 1. So you have figures, you can describe the figures referring to figure 1. Part A is this, B is this. Figure 2 shows the front feature, it shows the arrangement of various parts in the following manner. So you have to describe everything in the preferred embodiment part of the specification. So this is how you will describe the reference numerals of the figures. Optional part of the specification, if your specification is a individual application or patent competition or a co-patent application, co-filed application, then you can provide the reference number of your previous applications also. In case your research is funded somewhere, you can mention that also in the specification. If your invention has some sequence listing, so you have to provide a sequence list, sequences, all the sequence in detail in the specification. So all gene sequence have to be the part of the specification. You have to provide all the gene sequence properly in the patent specification. How you have to format your patent specification? Your patent specification should be like in 1.5 spacing or double spacing. It should be in a portrait orientation form. 8.5 by 11 inches margin you can leave. Then you have to number each and every page. You can use Times Roman, A or Korean script. So what you should do while writing the patent specification, description of your invention, you must describe your invention in great detail so that a person skilled in the art can perform the invention without any undue experimentation. उनको मेहनत ना करनी पड़े, वो पढ़ के ही सिर्फ आपका invention perform कर सके. References to the drawing should be very clear. You should provide at least one specific embodiment in your specification. We also make sure that the brief description of the drawing is there to understand the drawing. You should provide proper antecedent basis to all the terms. You can decide, create your own terminology, but that should be defined in the specification. You should focus a lot on the technical features of your invention. What you should not do is you should not use or describe any or mention any trademark or logo in your specification. If your invention involves some chemical compounds, then you should mention the IUPAC name of those compounds instead of their commercial names or other companies' names. So you should provide background of, in the background you should provide what the prior art is. You should not write why I did, how I started doing the invention. You don't have to describe the history of your doing of invention, but what actually actually the prior art was. So you should claim only that part what you have done, what could have been done. And you should properly proofread your invention before finalizing it, because in law, each and every word has its meaning. And has a separate meaning, or has a separate meaning. Shall has a different meaning, can may have different meaning. So grammar is very important. Even the comma and full stop mistake can become very critical sometimes. And the last and the most important part of a patent specification is claim. So the name of the game we generally call is the claim. So सारा claim ही claim का है, patent का. So अगर if you have not written a proper claim, a sufficiently strong claim, invention पूरी सारी मेहनत बेकार. There is no use of doing a invention and then waiting for 2-3 years for a patent, and then at the end of the day you will have a patent which cannot be commercialized or which has no commercial value. So it is the part, claim is the part of the specification for which you will get a monopoly. It basically defines the invention and all the parts of the invention in a legal manner. So claims basically set the boundaries of your invention. आपकी boundary क्या है? Because आप, what is patent? Patent है is the right to stop other people from using your invention. So claim is the part which is defining your boundary. कि उस boundary के बाहर लोगों को रहना, उसके अंदर नहीं एक्ट करना. तो आपको अपनी invention claim से आप अपनी invention की boundary define करते हैं. आपको you tell the entire world what actually you have invented. आपकी invention क्या है? So it should cover all your invention and your embodiment. Claim have to be a mix of narrow and broad claims, narrow claims, that I will tell you in further slide. So for example, suppose किसी ने, for example, ये बहुत ही बच्चों वाला example है, but to explain the concept. So किसी ने claim किया a fruit. Somebody is claiming a fruit. So fruit is a word, is a broad enough word which will cover apple, oranges, grapes, and all the fruits will be covered by this word fruit. So if somebody starts using apple, selling apple, so what it would be considered? It will be considered as an infringement because fruit covers everything. So इस तरह से हमें broad claim बनाने चाहिए, पर इतने भी broad नहीं कि ये तो example है, but इतने भी broad नहीं कि वो सब कुछ ही cover करे. So that is basically an art. So suppose किसी ने बनाया, somebody made a chair with a backrest and 4 legs. So somebody, कोई दूसरा बंदा, a person A starts selling a red wooden chair with a backrest and 4 legs. तो claim में क्या था? Claim किया उसने backrest and 4 legs. So backrest and 4 legs claim किया है, तो कोई अगर कह रहा है कि मैं तो wooden chair बना रहा हूँ, so that is also an infringement, क्योंकि claim तो कोई भी चीज, कोई भी आर्टिकल जिसमें एक बैकरेस्ट है और 4 लेग्स हैं उस पे है. तो डिफाइन हुई बाउंड्री डिफाइन हुई वो कोई भी आर्टिकल विच इज हैविंग अ बैकरेस्ट एंड 4 लेग्स पे हो गई. तो अगर कोई वुडन चेयर बना रहा है, रेड चेयर बना रहा है, ग्रीन चेयर बना रहा है, उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता. इट वुड बी कंसीडर्ड एज इन्फ्रिंजमेंट. सो वी हैव टू मेक केस प्रोडक्ट केस. Claims basically balance scope and validity of the claim. Narrow claims may be easier to circumvent. अगर आप बहुत narrow claim बनाएंगे अपनी invention से गाली लिखेंगे तो वो बहुत narrow हो जाएगा, वो आपकी invention को protect नहीं कर पाएगा. Therefore there has to be a mix of broad and narrow claims. So what important points we need to consider while starting drafting of the claims, that each claim is a single sentence and should be properly worded. A claim part, because legal part has specification का, so there is a very specific pattern of writing a claim. Each claim is a single sentence. Claim कोई paragraph में नहीं लिखना होता. 3 lines or more lines, but it has to be a single sentence and it should be clearly defining the invention. Claim should be very precise and there should not be unnecessary words or repetition in the claims. So rights are given to claims, so not for the subject matter which is there in the specification. So when you are writing a claim, then your claim should be very clear and concise. बहुत छोटा होना चाहिए, specific होना चाहिए. It should be written in plain English because in India we file specifications in English. हिंदी में भी हम specification file करते हैं, but generally like 99% it is filed in English. It should be written in a single sentence. एक sentence होना चाहिए, clearly defined. It should define the invention. It should distinguish your invention from the other. Claim should be such that while reading the claim, we are able to identify the prior art and the invention. Focus on the features of the invention and not the statements and the description. Set out all the essential technical features of the invention or inventive concept and the way they relate to each other. So in the claims, you have to set out how each part is related to each other. Be consistent and your claim should be supported with a description. Further, और उसमें और चीजें आप क्या use कर सकते हैं? You should figure out all the essential parts or elements of the invention in the claim. You should always start with a product. So claim writing is it should be such like an onion. जैसे प्याज होती है, लेयर बाय लेयर, उसमें लेयर्स होते हैं. फर्स्ट लेयर है, उसके अंदर एक लेयर है, फिर उसको खोला, सेकंड को तो थर्ड लेयर है. तो उस तरीके से क्लेम ड्राफ्ट किए जाते हैं. द फर्स्ट क्लेम इज द ब्रॉडेस्ट क्लेम. पहला क्लेम सबसे ब्रॉड क्लेम होता है, उसके बाद थोड़ा नैरो क्लेम, फिर उसके बाद उससे भी नैरो क्लेम, फिर स्पेसिफिक क्लेम हम अपने फीचर में करते हैं. सो द क्लेम शुड बी रिटन. द फर्स्ट क्लेम इज द outermost layer or the layer of the onion. Claim should start from the new page of the specification and they should be numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4 and it should start with I claim or V claim. Each claim should consist of an introduction part, linking word and the body that I explained in the other slide. First claim is called the independent claim. The other claims are called the dependent claims. And there is no restriction on the number of claims, and claims must be properly supported by the description. So this is the structure. How the claim should be written is claim has 3 parts. The first part is called the preamble or the introductory part. The second part is the main body, and introductory and main body are linked together by a transitional word or the linking word or transitional phrase. So for example, if we have prepared a disposable toothbrush, so the claim will be a toothbrush comprising. So a toothbrush is the preamble or the introductory word. Comprising is the transitional phase or the linking word. Comprise a toothbrush comprising a head, a neck, a handle. So they become the main body of the claim. So in this manner we have to write a claim. So preamble basically defines the broad category of your invention. For example, if somebody has made an isolated bacteria cell, so he'll write an isolated bacterial cell comprising XY cell. So isolated bacterial cell becomes the preamble. Or a method of preparing XYZ, a compound comprising this structure. So all these words or the manner they are written are the preamble of the claim. Preamble of the claim is generally it should be same as that of your title. So that's why having a good title is very important because it also becomes the preamble of the claim. For example, if somebody has invented a temperature controlling device, so preamble of the claim can be a device for controlling temperature. Or if somebody has made a controlling a device for controlling temperature and humidity, so you can just say controlling device. So preamble will become a device for controlling such and such. transitional words are the words which link the preamble and the main body. So these can be open-ended words or closed-ended words. So generally we use word comprising, including as open-ended word, because if we use these words, it means that if I say a method for preparing starch composition comprising the steps A, B, C, D. So if I am writing comprising the steps A, B, C, D, which means in between A, B, C, D there can be other steps also, but my invention lies in A, B, C, D steps. So this is an open-ended statement. So there are closed-ended transitional phase also, which are consisting essentially of. So these words are called closed-ended words, because if you will use these words, it means a method for preparing starch composition consisting of A, B, C, D. इसका मतलब हुआ कि आपके प्रोसेस में सिर्फ यही 4 स्टेप है, और a method of preparing starch composition consisting essentially of A, B, C, D, मतलब बस ये 4 ही स्टेप्स हैं, बीच में और कुछ नहीं हो सकता. So this is a closed-ended wording. और अगर हम comprising या including यूज करें, they are open-ended wording. So body is the last part, the part which is attached to the transitional phase. So where we say a device consisting of X, Y attached to the proximal end. Right. So this the last green part is the body part of the claim, which describes the features of the invention. So for example, the element in a body must relate to each other. So when we are describing the steps also of the elements, then they should be related to each other. So अगर हमें कोई device बनाई है, तो we should say the bottom part, a device consisting of or comprising of X, Y attached to the proximal end. हमें बताना पड़ता है कि X, Y, Z ये आपस में कैसे इंटरलिंक्ड है. अगर टूथब्रश है, तो for example I have to write a toothbrush comprising of a head and a handle which is attached together through a neck. तो वो पूरा एक टूथब्रश का स्ट्रक्चर क्रिएट हो गया. Then punctuations are very important in claim, because comma appear, comma कहाँ लगेगा, full stop कहाँ लगेगा, colon, that becomes very critical for claim, because claim has to be a single sentence. तो full stop तो एकदम लास्ट में लगेगा. तो बाकी उसके पार्ट्स को, फीचर्स को कनेक्ट करने के लिए we must use comma, which should appear before the transitional phase. Then you can use colon. You can also use semicolon between the limitations. So this is an example where you can show the punctuation. So if I am writing a device, तो जैसे मैंने preamble complete किया, then I can put a comma, then consisting of transitional phase लिखा, then there is a colon which is showing a pause there, then feature X, then feature X के बाद हमने semicolon लगा because it is connected to feature Y, then there is a semicolon and Z, and last with as soon as the claim ends there is a full stop. So this is a very specific way of writing a claim. Then there are antecedents. You have to use articles like a and the in the claim. So when we start a claim, then we write a device, and then we repeat a device or a thing, then we use the word the. So जैसे ही नया पार्ट, नया फीचर आता है, then we use word a, और वही फीचर जब आगे रिपीट होता है, then we can use the. Then claim phrases which we need to use are like wherein. When we are trying to characterize our invention, we can write wherein, whereby, such that, so as. So this is an example of a claim which says a device with or having X, Y, Z. Or you can say a device having X, Y selected from the group comprising. आप अपने elements define करते जा सकते हैं. What are the types of claim? क्या क्या हम claim कर सकते हैं? Then claims are can be categorized on the basis of ड्राफ्टिंग डिपेंडेंट क्लेम है या इंडिपेंडेंट क्लेम है. सो डिपेंडेंट क्लेम, इंडिपेंडेंट क्लेम, ऑम्निबस क्लेम, हमारी किस तरह की इन्वेंशन है, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ इन्वेंशन इज इट, वेदर वी हैव मेड अ प्रोडक्ट और वी हैव मेड अ प्रोसेस, वी हैव मेड अ machine apparatus or we are using a use, so accordingly we can make claim different claims. In case of improvement mechanical inventions, we can make different claims. In case of chemical inventions, we can make Markov claim, Swiss type of claims. We can make pure structure claims, structure plus means function based, function claims, step plus function claims can be made. So in a chemical or a pharmaceutical invention, in case of pharmaceutical inventions, we can claim a pharmaceutical product. So if you have a pharmaceutical product, you can claim new chemical entities. If you have developed a new molecule, that can come under new chemical entity. If you have developed some formulation composition, that can be claimed. Combinations, dosage can be claimed. New form of a known substance, salt, ethyl acetate, everything can be claimed as a new form of known substance. Kits can be claimed separately. Product by process claims can be prepared separately. If you have developed a method or a process of manufacturing something, that can be claimed. New property or new use of a known substance can be claimed. Method of treatment and diagnosis is not allowed in India, but it is allowed in other countries, so you can make those claims also. Selection invention claims can be made. In case of biological biotech inventions, you can have all these claims. You can claim a new polynucleotide, gene sequence, vector, gene construct, host cells, microorganisms, stem cells. You can also claim plants, animal tissue culture. In India, it is not allowed, but otherwise it is allowed. Pharmaceutical or vaccine composition can be claimed. Antibodies, antigens, diagnostic kits. Diagnostic test kits are all allowed. In computer-related invention, you can claim. In India, business method computer program passing is not allowed, but outside it is. In other countries, Europe, etc., it is allowed. So you can have these kinds of claims. Business method claims आप बना सकते हैं. Algorithms भी claim बना सकते हैं. Apparatus and system claims you can make. Computer readable medium पे you can make claims. Computer program products पे you can make claims. In mechanical inventions, you can have claims on apparatus, devices, products, improvements. You can make different claims on that. So what common mistake you should avoid in claiming while drafting is you should explain the function, how your invention is functioning. That should be explained, but you should not explain how you did your invention. You don't need to give a quote about that. You should not vaguely describe the invention. You have to be very, very specific, and you have to use simple language, simple wording. Wrong wording should be avoided. You should not overlook your specification. It means that you should not only focus on drafting the claim. सारा focus claim draft पे नहीं होना चाहिए. You should equally spend time in describing the invention in this specification, because whatever you are claiming should be there in the specification. You should not use inconsistent words in your draft. You should not write too much or too less. So that balance is very important. Misrepresentation of fact should not be there. You should not write anything which you cannot prove. I.R.स should be done properly, and you should always consider that whatever you have written will be read by other people, and they are very knowledgeable people. You should not write vaguely, considering that बस मुझे ही आता है, बाकी किसी को कुछ नहीं आता है. ऐसा नहीं है, सबको बहुत ज़्यादा आता है. जो पेटेंट डॉक्यूमेंट पढ़ते हैं, they are extremely knowledgeable people. So always, in order to draft a good patent specification, do not beat around the bush. Be specific, be clear. Stick to the patent office guidelines, requirements, and best thing is to seek a professional help if you feel you will not be able to write a good specification. So we can skip these. So if you have any queries, you can ask me, or you can write to me.
मैम को मैम हमारी इतनी पक्की अटॉर्नी है कि आती ही रहती है वैसे जब बुला क्वायरी है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं। सर भी यहाँ है, मैम भी यहाँ है, क्योंकि सभी बार तो चलेगी। अगर कोई भी क्वायरी है तो पूछ सकते हैं। कोई नहीं है मैम, कुछ क्वायरी है बताइए।
स्पेसिफिकेशन था जो भी स्पेसिफिकेशंस है दैट विल बी रिवील्ड सभी पब्लिश हो जाएगा तो ड्रॉबैक है ना
सर उसके बिना
तो कुछ साल बाद सबको सब पेटेंट हो जाएगा सबके लिए भी किसी पे काम कर सकते हैं तो ड्रॉबैक
आई जस्ट इंटरवीन। अगर वो अप्रोच है तो आपको पेटेंट के रास्ते नहीं आपको ट्रेड सीक्रेट के रास्ते जाना चाहिए। If you don't wish, जैसे टुंडे कबाब मसाला है, कोका कोला है, they are trade secrets, वो नहीं बताते। पेटेंट अगर हम फाइल कर रहे हैं तो it is for the purpose and intent that at some point of time it should be for a limited period, it should be used at a price by society, and after that it should be available freely for anyone in the world.
सर व्हाट इज ट्रेड सीक्रेट मतलब उसमें क्या आप अपने स्पेसिफिकेशन नहीं
ट्रेड सीक्रेट में कुछ नहीं फाइल होता
कुछ नहीं, वो आपका सीक्रेट है। जैसे आपने पुराना चिकन पुराना कुछ कर लिया था, एक बड़ी सीक्रेट रेसिपी थी उसको कुक करने की, तो वो ट्रेड सीक्रेट था उसका, वही बस बना पाते थे और कोई नहीं।
कोका कोला का जो फॉर्मूला है दैट इज अ ट्रेड सीक्रेट। एट वन टाइम ओनली 2 or 3 people नो कि आज का कॉम्पोजिशन क्या है और उसमें कब वेरिएशन होगा 6 महीने बाद, वो 6 महीने बाद लोगों को पता होगा। वो आर कंसर्न ऑन अ नीड टू नो बेसिस।
प्रॉब्लम इज ट्रेड सीक्रेट इज दैट आपको अपना डेटा लेना पड़ेगा। सीक्रेट को लिया तो फिर आप कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे, आपको सिर्फ ये भी दिखाना पड़ेगा कि मैंने तो पूरी कोशिश की थी, सारे रिकॉर्ड्स दिए थे, फिर भी मेरा सीक्रेट ओपन हो गया।
अगर वो सीक्रेट खुला तो एवरीथिंग इज लॉस्ट। पेटेंट में कम से कम 20 साल आपको वो मौका है टू मोनेटाइज आउट ऑफ इट, स्विच ऑन टू अ न्यू इनोवेशन और अपना इन्वेंशन आप सोसाइटी को डोनेट कर दीजिए।
और फिर सबको पता है कि यू आर द फर्स्ट वन इन दिस नॉट राइट, क्योंकि पेटेंट सिस्टम का प्रेमाइसेस है वही है डिस्क्लोज करना।
और किसी का कोई क्वेरी नहीं आ रही, सबको जा रहा है। एप्लीकेशन डालते समय तो इतनी अमल थी कि बस सब ले लो है। ठीक है, तो अगर कोई और क्वेरी नहीं है तो हम लंच के लिए वेट करेंगे। एक सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है मेरी कि हमारा जो डाइनिंग हॉल है वो छोटा है, ठीक है, एट द टाइम 50 लोग को अकोमोडेट कर पाए। तो मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि पहले जो जिनको टोकन नंबर 60 तक मिला है वो पहले कर ले, बाकी लोग यहाँ बैठे 15 मिनट बाद आप जा सकते हैं नीचे एंड वो मेरी आप खुद करती है, आराम से रिलैक्स करिए। और एक चीज़ हो, मैक्सिमम वेजिटेरियन है इसमें, तो मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि हॉल की तरफ कोई नहीं है, ठीक है, क्योंकि असेंबली आगे पीछे चल रहा है, तो प्लीज आप इस तरफ घूमिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, थोड़ी आगे तरफ करिए, मतलब हॉल की तरफ प्लीज नहीं जाइएगा, ठीक है। और कुछ करके फिर हम मिलते हैं, फीडबैक फॉर्म आपको मिले हुए हैं, आपसे भर दीजिएगा। और एक अच्छी चीज बता दूंगा आपको कि एक सर्टिफिकेट आपको अप्रैल के बाद इंडियन पेटेंट ऑफिस भी देगा, ठीक है, आपको देगी आपको सर्टिफिकेट, एक बार सर्टिफिकेट अप्रैल में हाँ, उनको ही मिलेगा जो भी आएंगे और फीडबैक फॉर्म हम सर्कुलेट करेंगे। ठीक है, फिजिकल कॉपी करेंगे, आज की बच्चा अभी सॉफ्ट कॉपी करेंगे और घर से भर लोगे। ठीक है, तो 4 बजे को सर्कुलेट करेंगे, 15 मिनट के लिए खुला रहेगा, यही हॉल में भरना है, सबको वाईफाई पासवर्ड मिल जाएगा और आप कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, इसके बाद 2 बजे सबका लेक्चर होगा, करेंगे, उसके बाद मेरा लेक्चर होगा, फिर डिस्कशन करेंगे और रोज भी आपकी कोई फाइल करेंगे तो कॉल करेंगे। ठीक है।